few days while waiting for the dust to settle. We paused before the trailer, Michael looking for anything out of place. Not knowing what to do, I focused on checking the ground for tracks. There was nothing visible, though. With that wind, I imagined any kind of imprints would be erased within a few hours. I used to question why we went on recons. My answer came last night when I received my briefing. While the bunkers had been designed to last decades, even centuries, it was unknown whether people could last that long. At some point, we were going to lose all our specialists, doctors, engineers, and teachers. Even if those skills were passed on to the next generation, there would be some inevitable loss of know-how. Repeat that enough generations, and we would resemble the Wastelanders above. For this reason, we accepted that eventually a move to the surface would have to be made. That was the primary objective of the recons. The one Michael and I were on was meant to be short, but experienced officers were sent on more extended expeditions for the purpose of finding suitable places to settle. In the post-apocalyptic Mojave, however, those places were few and far between, and the prime spots had already been snatched up. That meant recons had to range further and further. This carried risks. Not only could we lose good men to the dangers of the Wasteland, but one of our recons could be followed back. When I rejoined Michael, he was looking in the direction of Bunker 108. I didn't know why, but I assumed it was to see if we were being followed. "Let's wheel around Heart Mountain. We're taking the long route today." "What's the long route?" "It'll take us to the mountain's northern face. After that, we'll double back to the valley. There's a good view of the desert floor from the lookout." As we set course for the mountain, our conversation turned more personal. "Thought about your profession any?" "I'm gonna be a researcher, like my dad. He's already shown me a few things in the lab, so I think I have an advantage there." "Well, that makes sense," Michael said. "I won't even try to convince you to become an officer. We need scientist types too, and God knows they're getting rare these days." He frowned. "I've always wondered why Dr. Keener was holed up here. Seems like 114 would be more his place." "Bunker 114's pretty far," I said with a shrug. In truth, it wasn't that far, only 50 miles. However, 50 miles in the Wasteland was a dangerous distance to cross. Besides, we've always lived in 108. It's home. "Sure, there's that," Michael said. "But 114's the last bunker left that still does medical research. I've heard they have a whole complement of scientists there." "I guess I've never thought about it. Transfers don't happen anymore. There aren't many places to transfer to these days. During the Dark Decade, the U.S. had built a lot of bunkers in the Mojave because of nearby L.A., San Diego, and Vegas. Bunker 108 and especially Bunker 114 were centers for xenobiological research, dedicating themselves to the study of the strange fungus and microbes that had emerged from the impact of Ragnarok. My dad's line of research was xenofungus, a purple and spongy substance that grew in his lab. I suppose the fungus was far more common out where Ragnarok had impacted, because all I could see out here were red hills and dust. Looking up, it was hard to imagine that sky ever having been blue. As we scaled the mountain, I thought of Michael and the difference in our ages and lives. Though we were 8 years apart, we had one thing in common. Neither of us had seen old Earth. We were both born underground in Bunker 108, and anyone 30 years old or younger could say the same. Bunker 108 had a population of about 400. Most of those who died in the last 30 years had been old. Some had been born underground, like Michael and me, but we weren't growing fast enough to replace those lost. When we arrived at the north face of Heart Mountain, I paused to glance at the distant red peaks. Being so used to the confines of the bunker, it was surreal to see so much open space. I wished we could stop so I could give the mountains a good long look, but Michael's pace made it all I could do to keep up. "Jesus," Michael said, pulling to a sudden stop. "What?" As my eyes followed the direction of Michael's rifle, all of my fears manifested before me. Face down in front of us, partially hidden by some wispy scrub, lay a man stabbed several times in the back.